Hey everybody, welcome back to Lead Full Circle, where we talk about leading well at work and why that matters, but also the importance of leading well at home and with our families. And today we're talking about a topic that applies to every season of leadership, and that is ending well and starting strong. So as we're approaching the end of this year, where does this find you? Where are you closing out a semester at school? Are you wrapping up a year at work? Or even just finishing up a chapter of life? How you close and how you begin are two of the greatest indicators of your influence. So we're going to start with this, why ending well is so important. Leadership is often looked at and viewed as far as where you're going in life, but we can never forget it's also about how you leave where you've been. Do you leave it better than how you found it? In schools, businesses, organizations, how you end that season, how you end that chapter often reveals your character more so than how you began it. When things slow down, when people get tired, when your routines fade away at times, that is when your leadership is on full display. Ending well means probably you resisted coasting. You were intentional in carrying out your day-to-day when others probably hit autopilot. And you ended that season, you ended that chapter with the same drive, with the same purpose, with the same passion that you began it with. You didn't burn out because you stayed true to your why. Those are some probably results of you ending well. If you walk in and you're still frustrated from a day's work, if you're still distracted, if you're still checked out from your family because of what happened that day at work, then all you're doing is setting the tone for the next day with your family. But if you end the day with a sense of gratitude, with connection, man, your family feels it. And that really helps set the tone to end the day and start the next day the right way. And here's something to always remember. You cannot control every outcome of every part of the day. But what you can control is the spirit you bring in to end the day. End the day the right way with your family. So let's ask the question. How do we end the day well at work? How do we end the day well at home? Let's put some practical application to this. So let's start with our workplace. First point, close loops intentionally, meaning have those conversations with someone that you have delayed, that you've put off. Don't leave people guessing and wondering. Have your monthly check-ins. Have your weekly check-ins. Make sure people know and understand and that people are not guessing and wondering. Close those loops intentionally with those important conversations. Second point, express appreciation. Make sure people know that they matter. It's not just about what they need to get accomplished and get finished or checked off. Make sure the people you work with, make sure they know that they matter, that you are thankful and grateful for them. I would encourage you to verbally thank one person a day, just a simple thank you, and tell them why you're thankful, but one person a day at work. And that does not sound like a lot, but I think a lot of times we get caught up in the routine and the day-to-day grind at work and we forget about what's important. So I would encourage you, express appreciation as our second point here at work, but thank just one person a day will go a long way at your workplace. And the third point is reflect honestly. What's working, what's not working. So one way I do this at school, and I think this is something you could apply to any place at work, any organization, at the end of the school year, I sit down with every single employee, one-on-one, face-to-face conversation, and they know coming into the conversation what to expect. So I ask them to bring with them 3 positive takeaways from the year, 2 areas that they want to grow in professionally, where they want to improve, and then 1 area of concern. And the area of concern is sometimes a negative comment, things they've seen that we could have done different, but I welcome that feedback. That is so important for me to hear from them because they see things differently than I do from their perspective than from my perspective as the leader, as a principal. So they're so powerful, productive conversations, and it is a great time for our school to reflect honestly as we close out the year and as we get ready to start preparing for the next school year. It also allows me to do these 3 things, and I would encourage you, when you reflect, think about these three things. And it seems very simple, but it's so true. What do I need to stop? What do I need to start? And what do I need to continue? So when you reflect, ask yourself those three things. What needs to stop? What do I need to start? And what do I need to continue? So reflect honestly at work. So now let's transition to our home. Practical ways to end well. Let's just take a day-by-day example. We've got to find, as a family, you as a leader of your home, you got to have a landing spot to end the day. Find 5 minutes to make that connection with your spouse, with your kids. 5 minutes of intentional time with your family is better than 5 hours at home, but you're distracted the whole time. So make a point just to have a very intentional conversation with your family the last 5 minutes of the day, the last part of the day before you go to bed. Ask them a simple question. What was the best part of your day today? And those conversations can just be meaningful. Again, it just allows you to have that connection with your family. Land the day the right way, and that is with presence. Second point is very similar to the first, but a little different of a spin on it as far as a practical way to end well at home. You've got to release the day. So the second point is release the day. Don't let the stress of today carry with you and create a stressful start to tomorrow. The second practical way to end well at home is very simple, very similar to the first point, but you've got to release the day. You can't allow the stress of today carry over into the night with your family and carry over really into tomorrow. One thing we've got to remember, and I struggle with this at times, you can't solve all the problems before bedtime. You've got to release it. So just a simple thing that I try to do is write down. So when I end my day at work, I try to write down my to-do list for the next day. So I have a plan, and that just helps me feel better about it. Going into tomorrow, it helps me release the day. So when I get home, I'm not as distracted. So what are some things you can do to release the day, making you realize you can't solve all the problems before bedtime? So when you get home, your focus is where it needs to be, and that's on your family. We've talked about practical ways to end well at work and end well at home. Now we're going to shift our focus to starting strong. Man, this is such a big deal. How you start can set the tone for the rest of your day, for the rest of that chapter, rest of that season. You got to start off the right way. Starting strong is not about how fast you do something, not about the speed. Starting strong is all about your focus. It's setting the tone before the world competes for your attention. How you set the tone from the start is such a big deal. It allows you to start with clarity and not chaos. And we've all had those days where you walk into work and it's just, you feel like it's constant chaos. So how do you get ahead of that and start your day with clarity and a focus, and your attention is where it needs to be before the world tries to come in and grab it and distract you? Two things come to my mind. Are you disciplined in how you start your day so you don't allow those distractions to creep in? And second, you've got to lead yourself before trying to lead anybody else. You've got to take care of yourself. So let's look at some practical ways to start strong. And let's look at our workplace first. 3 points I want to make here. First, clarify the mission. What matters most to you at your workplace, at your business, at your organization, at your school? Whatever that is, say it loud and repeat it throughout the day. Never lose sight of what matters most to you at work. Number 2, model positivity and energy. As a leader at your workplace, when you step into the room, your body language, how you speak to people, how you treat people, it sets the tone for the whole room. So you've got to model that positivity, that positive energy. The third point, set a rhythm. As a leader at your workplace, a strong start comes from very clear expectations and consistent habits. So be consistent, have clear expectations, and that will allow you to have a very strong start at your workplace. So now I want to look at practical ways to start strong at your home. And really, I want to talk about you yourself first. I said just a minute ago, you have to lead yourself before trying to lead anyone else. So I want to start with this before you step out your front door, before you get in your car to go to work and the fast pace of life just gets going. You as an individual, as a leader of your home, as a leader at work, before you do anything, I believe you've got to win that first hour of the day. You've got to win the first hour of the day. And for me, I'll tell you what that looks like for me. And then you can apply this to your life however you see fit. But for me, I start the first hour of my day with 3 things every single day: prayer, Bible study, and working out, taking care of myself physically. Those are the 3 things I try to do every day, winning the first hour of the day, because it really helps set the tone, gets my focus on where it needs to be so the world can't come in and distract me. So that's the first point. The second point, lead with a sense of calmness, not chaos. So obviously the morning times can sometimes be very hectic, getting ready for work, getting ready for school. But you have to set that emotional tone of your home as a leader, because that can become very contagious throughout your home and family. So lead with a sense of calmness, not chaos. The third point is this: have clear communication, align with your spouse. So you and your spouse need to be on the same page as you start each day. That will help the day go smoother. It will help you get off to a strong start to the day. So have some intentional time to start the day with you and your spouse. What does that day look like for your family? Talk about it. Communicate it with each other. Align your mission, your purpose for your family that day. Align it with your spouse. Make sure you're on the same page. Starting strong in leadership is an important advantage, because most people will drift if you don't start the day strong. So as we close here, when you put these 2 together, ending well and starting strong, you create a cycle of leadership that compounds over time. And it allows you to be the best version of you as far as leading at work and leading at home. And I want to end with this thought. We don't just want to lead full circle. We want to live full circle. And that means paying attention to not just what's in the middle of life, but being very intentional and paying close attention to how we start and close every chapter. So thank you for taking time today to watch and listen to this episode. We're closing to the end of 2025, so I hope there's a lot of application you can put in place at work, put in place at home. End well, start strong. Continue to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to my website, check it out at leadfullcircle.net. Great resources, great action plans for work, great action plans, resources, toolkits for your family at leadfullcircle.net. So go check it out. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Lead Full Circle.